All right, so we're going to talk about how to make a new scene, how to switch between levels. We call them scenes in Unity. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So right now, I'm just going to show you this project right now. Just has, if I press play, it's got a ball I can roll back and forth. And then I put this coin in there right now. All the coin has is a collider. So I run into it. That's not a trigger. And that's it. That's my entire scene, okay? So what I'm going to do first is we need to create another scene to be able to switch scenes. Scenes is what we use to build essentially a level. So I'm going to click Control Save here. There wasn't an asterisk, so main scene was already saved. But I'm going to go to my main folder. I'm going to go into my scenes directory, and I'm going to create a new scene, okay? So I'm going to call this one, I don't know, level 2. All right, so now I got a level 2, and since I'm saying I can just double click over there, totally empty scene. If I want to put something in, I could say, I could go to my prefab, I could throw a few coins in here, just, you know, so there's something to load. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control S. That's my scene, that's level 2. Going back to scenes, I'm going to click on, or double click on main scene to switch back over. And now I need some condition to be able to switch scenes. Okay, now this could be anywhere. It's really common to put a game object in here that's, you know, we'll call it like game controller or level manager, something like that. And then maybe every time it gets a signal, it keeps track of, say, score or lives, or it's constantly checking whether you've reached some point value. So that's really common. Instead, because this is such a simple project, I'm just going to have the ball detect when it hits the coin. When it hits the coin, I'll have it switch levels. Okay, so I'm going to go into the script attached to the ball, which is the player controller. And in there, all I've got is move with physics. These are my lines of code just to move. So I'm going to say is void. And now since the thing is not a trigger, I'll do on collision enter 2D. That's when a rigid body and two colliders just bump into each other. And there's no trigger, so they hit and they go thud. So I'm going to call on that. It's going to create a collision 2D object. So I'm going to call it other. Okay, so anytime a collision happens, this is going to get called. And so I could put a little condition in there just to say like, hey, if that other dot, and I'm going to compare the tag on it, I'm going to say, oh, whoops, other dot, isn't it compare tag? Game object dot, I guess the back value directory to game object. And I'm going to check its game, tag to see if it's coin. Okay, and as long as it is tagged as coin, I'm going to go ahead and switch levels. Okay, right now I'm just going to put in switch levels. Okay, I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back out. I'm going to make sure that my coin is tagged as coin. It is. Great. We're good to go. I'm going to put a little test code in there. Maybe just debug.log switch levels. Okay. And we'll see if that happens. And then we'll actually do it. Okay. So I saved that. I go back over here. We'll watch the console window and we'll see if this all works. So roll over and boom, switch levels. Okay, so now let's actually do it. So I'm going to save, I'm going to save my scene. We're going to go back into here. And the way in which you switch scenes is you say using Unity Engine dot and then scene management. That's going to import all the methods from that class. And down here, we're going to now use the scene manager, and we're going to call on the method load scene. And then we have to pass in the string name of the scene. If you miss a capital letter or spell it wrong, it won't work. So we're going to go back over here and double check. That's level 2, no spaces, lowercase letters. So I'm going to go back in here and say load level 2. Okay, so it's got the command to load it, except we haven't really created a build or a project yet, so it knows what levels exist. Because while you're working in Unity, it's totally okay to have hundreds of assets in your project that you don't actually want to include in your final product. It's kind of like your reservoir of resources, but you'll select what will actually go into the game. So you can have all your scratch work not bogging down your game. So what we do is we go up to build settings. Okay, whoops, I'm going to go to build settings right here under file. And now right now it's got scenes to build, none. Okay, so I want to add the open scene, so I at least have that one. And then I could drag some other ones in. So I do want my main scene in the game, but I also want to be able to load level 2. So I'm going to load level 2. The first one that shows up is going to be the order in which, when the program opens, the 0 item here, the first one, will be the one that the game opens to. Okay, so it'll open to main scene, and then I'm able to switch level 2. Okay, so I can just close this. We'll talk about the settings in another video. But now that in my build settings, I have both levels loaded and included in my project, let's see if it works, okay? So we'd already said load scenes. Now we'll see if it actually, boop, switches over. Okay, and you could have some fireworks, some UI in there. But the main things here is to call on the method, you need to include Unity Engine.scene management. And then to actually load another scene, given whatever collision, whatever conditions, I said when a collision happens, specifically with something tagged as a coin, then go ahead and load the scene. And I had it in my player, but you could have any game object calling on this under any conditions. So use Unity Engine.scene management, and then call sceneManager.loadScene, passing in the string name of the scene. And then the two other things you need is A, the actual scene created and saved, and then B, in your build settings, you need to have included that scene. Okay, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it.